ChatGPT last night convinced me not to go play soccer.
Yeah.
I was like,
I've asked it
I
stuff like that before.
I was like, is exercise at this stage good? Here's like what I've been feeling because I've been sick, and it's like, oh yeah, some light exercise, stuff like that, and like, I'm kind of trying to like sugarcoat it a little bit, and then I'm like, okay, well, what I actually want to do is go play soccer, and then it's like, oh, well, we're not talking about light to moderate exercise. If you're gonna go play soccer, that's vigorous, high intensity exercise, and it carries some risks, and it like lays out a bunch of the stuff. And it's like, hey, if you're okay being sick, maybe potentially a few more extra days, and I'm like, gosh, dang it, dude,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not. I'm not okay with that. So just like stayed home. It's funny because I'm like, that's the first time that ChatGPT has made a medical decision in my personal life. But obviously, like I use it to consult for uh, like research on different stuff. Like I'll be like, hey, what vitamins are should you take for this type of thing or this type of thing? And but yeah, it was funny. I was like about to pack up all my stuff, and then ChatGPT was
Wow.
like, not a good idea. And I'm like, all right, that's it's true because it was like one of those things where I'm like, in my head, I probably know I shouldn't do this, but I just really want to, and
Need
it's
that
like
second opinion. Yeah.
something else that's ultra logical, and I feel like
Yeah.
that's like what ChatGPT is, right? It's like maybe it's just confirmation bias, right? And I've thought about that too with like all of these different models when you like ask it a question, it says something so confidently, but as soon as you say like, well, this is what I thought, it's like, oh yeah, you're absolutely right. It's like the confirmation bias is so strong. I wish there was like a model where it was like, and maybe you can like bake this into like the directions inside of ChatGPT, but it's like if only
Yeah.
there was a way to like make it say like, hey, I don't want confirmation bias. Like I don't want you just to agree with me because I say that I believe this thing. I
Yeah.
want you to independently think about this stuff.
I'm sure you could, like where you do the settings and stuff. But I agree. Yeah. It's like, don't listen to me. Just say what's right. But I do that all the time where I'm like, what do you think about this? And it like lays out scenarios. They're like, I mean, do it if you want to, but here's what you're gonna deal with. I feel like it's that first layer of like a primary care doc now, where you're like, should I go in and talk about this? It's not really an issue, but I'd like to just have an opinion or mention it to someone and see what they say.
Yep.
So hopefully that's like helping. I think if doctors' offices or hospitals were smart, they would create that bot, and like that would be the first step, and they could like somehow monetize it or something like that.
For sure. And like when I think about what the information I get from ChatGPT, I'm like, it's one of those things where I've realized that the information that it's giving me is just scraping everything that's out on the internet. So a lot of times I'll go to search Google, and this is where Google must be losing market share because like sometimes I'll go to the Google search bar and literally start typing the thing I'm going to ask in. I'm like, actually, you know what? This would be better in ChatGPT. So I copy and paste it from the Google bar
Wow.
into ChatGPT, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna, because
But it has the AI thing now.
yeah, yeah, and that's an interesting topic as well. But um, so essentially, how I think of it though is like a lot of people are thinking like, oh, this is like something that's freely thinking and like creating new content. I'm like, I think of AI right now, at least even with like GPT-5, is like I think of it less as oh, this is something that is creating new information for me, and it's just basically pooling all the research that would have taken me 10 minutes to read the top 5 articles on Google and
Yep.
like come up with my own opinion. It's like I can spar a little bit faster, and in that 10 minutes I can like get to a lot more like detail of like, oh, where'd you get this information from, what's the strength of the evidence, all that kind of stuff. And so like that's kind of how I view it. But
I
like,
guess you can't go back and forth like that on with the Google thing.
no. And so I started listening to the acquired podcast on Google, but the AI side of Google. And it's interesting because, like, I mean, people who are listening to this that are deep into AI probably know this already, but I didn't realize that Google basically wrote the paper and published the paper in 2017 on like these GPT models, like, and how they would work. Like, they've been using these things for a long time. For example, like when they first developed the Google AdSense platform, you know what Google AdSense is? It's basically like where they drop, like Google will drop ads on your website. Like high def, we could be like, oh, we want to start selling ad space on our website, and we could like register for Google AdSense, and they would start dropping like relevant ads on our site. Well, Google had this huge problem where they're like, how do we know how good the website is, and if these advertisers are actually going to want to put like, is it reputable enough, one, to put like this ad in there, and can we charge for that amount, and then where does it make most sense to insert this ad? And so they started using these large language models to read web pages and help Google AdSense figure out where to put these ads. And so they've been doing it for a long time, and they published the paper. But they're in an interesting, and I never thought about it this way, they're in an interesting dilemma where they probably have one of the strongest language models out there. They have some of the best AI engineers out there, but their product directly conflicts with the product that makes them the most money, because Google search that's where they get all their advertising dollars. Like when someone searches physical therapy, we have an ad that shows up. Right. If they start getting rid of those ads and just putting in their AI for free, right? Because like right now, when you search on Google, you don't need to be subscribed to Gemini to get that AI thing. So they're basically just like devaluing their own ads by putting in AI at the top. And then imagine if it was just ChatGPT. It's like, where in ChatGPT is there a space for an ad? Right? It's like, so the monetization of ChatGPT is only in the subscription. Whereas like there's way more money in selling ad space, right? Because
I think there's space for ads though.
Yeah, but it's like, I think the usage probably, it deters usage if it's like ChatGPT is like, oh, by the way, here's like someone that's paying for an ad in this space. You know, it's like, how are they gonna slip that in? It's gonna happen because they have to. Because think about this, you and I are spending right now $40 a month, 20 each on a ChatGPT membership, but we spend $7,000 a month on Google Ads. So imagine the delta between all the companies who are spending all that money, and then all of a sudden they're like, you know what, I'm not going to spend on these ads because it's all AI anyway. No one's scrolling down to like the actual Google search anymore. So Google's in this really interesting position where they probably have the most powerful tool out there. Like,
they don't want to unleash it.
I mean, they're bigger than, I imagine they have better, like, you know, they have a lot of stuff that they probably can't unleash because they don't want to kill their own business.
Yeah.
Like, who knows? And that made me think like, dude, maybe they have stuff that's way more powerful than ChatGPT, and they're just sitting back going like, man, imagine if we could release this thing, because they just don't want to kill their own business. And like Gemini is actually really powerful model, and like we use it, you know, it's kind of invested in all of our stuff. But
I think
Gemini has access to all of your Google Drive stuff, so it's like
right.
It has benefits because it's layered on like good selling products. But again, it's like Gmail, we pay. Even for the business, it's like $60 a year for each email, which we pay quite a bit in subscriptions, but nowhere close to Google ad spend.
No, it's kind of a interesting like brand dilemma too, right? Where you were like searching Google, but then you're like, no, I want to ask a question, so I'm going to go to ChatGPT, even though Google has that AI piece. It's almost just like a stuck in your mind, like the you can only own one word in people's mind, and it's like Google owns the word when you want to just search, for something, whereas ChatGPT owns in your mind when you want to ask a question now, which is kind of an interesting dilemma that Google has to be in. You imagine if they even wanted to go the ChatGPT route. You'd almost be like, well, no, you still would not think of them for that. Or there'd be a lot of people that don't.
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting because if you search something on Google now, it's just the AI overview, which is probably the size of the text box is about the size of the first search result. So it's like it's not crazy. And I actually do think about that when I search Google. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get like a good snippet of AI versus like when I want a really detailed AI answer, that's when I go to ChatGPT. So like they're already training my brain to do the action that it should be. I think what Google would prefer is in what they should do on here. And I don't know how this. I'm sure they've tested this and it impacts their search. But imagine instead, like I'm on Google Chrome right now. There's no button at the top where it's like all images, news, videos, shopping. You know, like the toolbar up there. There's no toolbar for Gemini,
Right.
which would be interesting because that would actually be the lowest.
I thought there was. I thought that was that diamond thing.
Yeah, but I don't like right now when I'm in Google Chrome, I don't see that. Maybe when I'm logged in with my other. Let me see if I log in with my.
Oh, well, not like you're talking about, but I thought that when you're in like Gmail, there's that diamond at the top.
Yeah, there is, but I'm saying in the search bar, there's just like the AI overview, but oh, there is AI mode. So you have to be logged into a Google profile that has Gemini, and then to the left of all, there's something called AI mode, and when you hit that, it just goes straight into a ChatGPT. So maybe this actually is now the better way to do it because then I don't have to do the work of like copying, pasting that search. It just goes straight into the Gemini search. So who knows? Maybe that's a better
But
use.
that's friction, you know? It's like that's friction with Google. Like you had to just figure that out. It wasn't that seamless.
Yeah, it's like what is AI mode, and then it's like it goes into a chat with it. So
Do you think though that like cuz the way I look at it is at least for now, if I was going to search for a service, I'm still kind of thinking Google, right? Like Google and Google Maps. That seems easier to me where it's like, dermatologist in Seattle. I would go to Google. I probably wouldn't go to ChatGPT, but I guess once that flips, then yeah, they're really in trouble.
yeah, yeah, it's an interesting thing that's happening right now. It's like, oh, this is getting embedded in, but we'll see how it
But
goes.
the more exciting news in AI is the Sora app.
Oh God.
Man, we've been having a lot of fun with it, and obviously, it's the number one most downloaded app in the world right now, which is crazy. Even though you have to have an invite code, which is
People
I
are
was
selling them on like I see them selling them on Twitter. You got to invite
really
folks $25 to get a code, dude.
shit. I should start slanging them, dude. Which did it get? Does it give you four a day or what? Like I don't know.
I don't know if it's 40. I've never sent anyone
I
one.
did. I sent a couple people, and then it was back up to four.
It must be, yeah, it must be a
I
daily.
was like, that's crazy. But I'm like, what a cool way to build in exclusivity and then like also like a crazy app. So I was trying to think of like where this app will go and what are some use cases. And I think that eventually I bet you could put a video that you already made and then like just create more personalized versions. Like, hey, we created this ad about high def. Make one for a skateboarder, make one for a basketball player, boom, and just like crank those out really quickly. And I was telling our buddy Eric, they're all worried, like, oh, this is going to take my job. I'm like, dude, you need to be on this app now. You've got all this knowledge of editing and film that I don't know. So I'm not going to be able to write a great prompt. Whereas you could put paragraphs and paragraphs and probably create something way cooler than I ever could because I just don't know that lingo. And so I think there's a lot of room that people could crush it there and create some really cool stuff. Ours is so basic and, it has a lot of issues with it because I think I'm not giving it very clear direction.
I've had ChatGPT write Sora prompts though, like really long ones, and it doesn't seem to
Pick up all of it.
no, and it doesn't seem to improve the errors. Like it'll write a slightly longer version. Now, I think that because Sora is so mainstream, I think they've dialed down like how long it's going to go, how much it's going to spend time thinking on these prompts because it takes so much compute power to do it. Whereas like I think if you have like a Grok Pro membership or something like that and you put the same prompt in, I'd be interested to see it make a better video. The problem is it's just not tied into the feed. The thing that they're going to have to figure out really quickly though is like I don't think Sora is like a separate app comparatively to ChatGPT. I think it's like it's a tab inside of ChatGPT, kind of like how XAI is making like, or X is making like the everything site where it's like Grok is like baked into X. I think that's more of the play because like the novelty is already worn off for me. I've like thought about a lot of ideas already.
Well, it doesn't work that well. That's why I'm,
I know
you
I
know,
like
like,
tapped it out the first day, and then like I've made like 2 videos since because I'm like it's fun. And every once in a while, I'm on the couch at night and I'm thinking about like, oh, I should do. It'd be funny to do this video, and I'll put it in. But I think there probably needs to be some sort of like other feature or something. And you're right though. I think the use case is there for that. And I think there are other apps, like I said, like Grok Pro or something like that, where you could already put in a picture and be like, hey, here's a photo of me, make me say this. Because like right now, Sora won't let you put still images in and like animate people and things like that, like animate photos.
it will.
There are other apps that will do it.
I did it.
I put a picture of
Remember that?
me. Was it
Remember that
this?
ad? No. Oh, I don't know about people, but remember I put that video or that picture of Covington and it
Yeah.
created, I was like, create a commercial about this and it had someone walking in the space. It looked pretty cool, but it just, you could tell it's not there enough to where I could actually like use it to post something. Like all the words are all fucked up and shit like that. So
What I'd rather like, so yeah, it will let you post a blank photo of no one, but like I tried to post a photo of me fishing and say like, hey, make me catch like a really huge fish.
it
And it
won't.
was like, no, it won't do it right now. It's like all those guardrails. It's like very scared to like mess with anything.
And after so many of those, I'm like, kind of, it wears off. I'm like, I don't really want to do this anymore.
I know, dude. I used the prompt. I said, make me, or I was using you. I was like, make him look like the '1 Canadian rapper. And even though I didn't use Drake's name, it would not let me produce you into the
Yeah.
#1 Canadian rapper. 'Cause
Yeah.
it was like, oh, this insinuates. I'm sure it's thinking like, oh, this is insinuating that this is Drake, and then I'm not going to make him Drake.
But then randomly, some it will let you do. Like Einstein, I see a lot of, and Martin Luther King. I'm
Well, I think
like,
it's like figures who, like their IP is gone. You know, they're just not going to sue you. So like, you know,
it's, and the Price is Right.
yeah.
I did when we were on the Price is Right.
I watched it. It's funny. Yeah, I mean it's really fun novelty, but the problem is like apps like this crash really fast when the novelty wears off.
Yeah. So you think it's going to maintain just as this like silly app and not grow into more of a
No, I think the team at Chat at OpenAI is incredibly smart, and so they're gonna pivot it. Like this is just a move to get a bunch of people in, I think, but they've got to figure out something fast because it's like it's actually smart that they kept the invite codes on there
yeah.
because now from like a growth perspective they're probably showing a much more stable climb because what I bet would have happened if they just opened it up, it would have been like 4 days of like this massive peak and then it would have just flatlined.
Probably
And
crash the app too and like
yeah,
not been able to.
yeah, so there would have been more issues with just letting people in because it would have just like the growth wouldn't have been looking good. Now they're probably getting like a consistent virality because they're only letting 4 people invite 4 people a day. So it's like it's multiplying, but at like a controlled rate. Yeah.
But I think like depending on what they do, if they want it to just be like this, like another TikTok, then I'm kind of out on it. But I think like imagine all these HR videos, where they actually hire a crew, they hire actors, film. Like you could easily make that shit with this and make it probably more entertaining,
Yeah.
and
And follow the script exactly, and no retakes. It's just like one take.
and it's done. And shoot, you could test it, be like, "Oh, people were not paying attention. Try something else." Like I think that type of stuff. Now, again, that may take a lot of jobs of actors who relied on those videos, but companies could easily create it. And I think, like someone like us could create some cool stuff that we would just never even be in the cards for us because it's way too expensive like that.
Well, think about even like the movie industry, man. Is like think about all the people that have to pay as extras.
Right.
Imagine if like you're like, I'm just gonna pay the two main characters, and then all of the like non-player characters that are just walking around the cafe, it's just gonna be AI generated. And also like it's just gonna be on a green screen, so we're not gonna have to go pay to shut down the streets of New York. And it's gonna look ultra real because it's gonna be like a game engine that's using AI to generate the graphics. It's like, like
Have
you
you
posted a
seen?
video of GTA 5, but like imagine what, and I'm wondering if this is what's delaying the release of GTA 6. It's like they're like in the middle of this like crazy revolution of technology
Yeah.
where they're like, oh my God, like we can give all these players in the game, like we can work AI into this so that like the players are way more realistic.
Let's
And
wait.
they're probably like, we got to rebuild this whole thing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Oh, I'm sure they came out with it 3 years ago, and then this hit, and they're like, hold on, this
Yeah, they're like ready to release, and
is
they're
gonna
like,
be obsolete in 2 weeks.
yeah, exactly. Because I know you see that like X, like Grok is now making video games. They're like going to produce their first game this year
That's sick.
using Grok's like AI engine to build the whole game.
Yeah. Did you see that AI actress that they have? I forget her name. Everyone's like, you go to her Instagram page, all the comments are like fucking actors and actresses, just like, we hate you, like how, like this is dumb, and all this stuff, and uh,
What's that AI actress's name? Do you know?
I can't remember, but they did like a skit. I think it was in London or something. They did a comedy skit with her, and like, yeah, everyone's pissed about it.
Her name
But
is Tilly Norwood.
yes, yes,
That's
yeah. Honestly, we'll see how it goes. Like, I watched it. I was like, this is just dumb, and it's not. I don't know. It's not that cool to me, but I don't know what people will grasp onto or like what they'll like. Because I guess what's the difference between that and like a cartoon?
yeah. Well,
I don't know.
I think like I said in a previous episode, I think that the use of AI generation for cartoons is going to be a much bigger use case than it is going to be for humans because I don't know, like there's going to be like a maybe like an evolutionary or biological or like just like a sensical barrier that you're going to have to cross to get humans to be like, oh, I'm fine with you just creating AI humans and I'm just watching a completely fake AI thing. And even though movies are completely fake anyway, I don't know why, like in my mind, there's like a barrier
Yeah.
to like fake people as well. But it's like in a cartoon, they're fake. So it's like, I know that Mickey Mouse is fake, so I don't really care if AI generates the script for the AI. It's like, or for
But that's kind of part of movies though, right? Is like this guy who is playing another role, right? And it's like, whoa, how good he did, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
And
for
and
sure. There's
that's
like, that's the art of it, right? That's
right.
the, yeah.
This comedian, he did a skit, or not a skit, but a joke where he was like, I walked in and Alexa was playing some music and I was vibing to it. I was dancing. And then I looked and it was AI generated music. And he's like, I felt like I felt like the cat, when you have that laser pointer and the cat just chasing around. He's like, I felt like the robots are just like, watch this. Watch this, we'll get them dancing around and shit. I was
Yeah,
like,
that's like I still hate it now. Like speaking of like going back to the Sora thing, it's like at least on that app, you know that everything's AI. The thing that's
Yeah.
gonna really bug me and already bugs me is like all these AI videos that are getting into Instagram. Like, has your feed gotten like it's better now? I think Instagram figured it out and they're starting to get rid of them. There would be like all these videos of like whales crashing into boats and stuff, or like people doing crazy stuff.
Yeah, have you seen that T-shirt cannon where they shoot that old lady?
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's like,
it's all rage bait, right? People are like, what the? How could they do that to her? She should sue, you know, and that's why they're doing it.
yep.
But
And
there's a big issue with all that with just fake news. You know, like you show this. I see it all the time on TikTok. It'll be like a fight or something, and then they'll put a caption over the video, like it'll be like someone throwing a Molotov cocktail, like look at Seattle, and you know everyone, all the comments are like, oh my god, we'll never go there. You don't know that video is like 10 years old from like the Middle East or something. Like people post shit like that all the time, and you're just warping people's views of things.
I know,
It's
and,
kind
and
of
that's
sad.
why I like things like X, and then Facebook started adding it too. I think on Facebook, but I don't know if Zuckerberg said they were going to do it on Instagram. I haven't seen it on Instagram that I can think of. The community notes, where you can like put in community notes, and if they get upvoted enough, they like appear under the video. Where it's like, this isn't accurate. This is a video from 2003. It's not. It's not in the United States. Whatever. You know, like it's like community notes. I think will help. But the problem is like people just ignore that stuff, and they just like because they get rage baited into like just like seeing red, and they just like don't think that like, oh, is this actually real?
And the damage is already done by that point. There, Jason Williams put out a post. So apparently there was like a fake post about Kai Cenat, that streamer,
Yeah.
that it was like Nike offered him 500 million to stop talking about his religion, and that was completely false. But he's like, but yeah, how many people believe it and are not watching all the videos claiming that it didn't happen?
For sure.
And that happens with everything.
Well, because your algorithm might not feed you the next thing. Like that, you might get like the one video where it's like, oh, you heard this one thing, and then you don't get like the, oh, I did this. It's just like kind of like the apology video, right? It's like you might see the act, and then you don't get the apology video served to you on the algorithm. So basically, like, yeah, I mean, there's so many people out walking around with just like ridiculous views on things.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see where it goes. The Sora app's been somewhat fun, but it'll be interesting how it plays out.
For sure.
Uh,
You got another one?
yeah. So I mean, it's a short one, but this is more business focused. It just strikes me every day like how easy it can be to generate business. Like I was at the coffee stand, and you know, she's like, I haven't seen you. And I was like, oh yeah, I just been working around. Where do you work? And I told her what, you know, oh, I own a physical therapy practice. My hip hurts. Oh my god, I should come see you guys, you know, and like I'm I'm like, man, do things and talk to people. Be out around and talk to people, and your business will grow, your brand will grow. Like now again, like maybe she comes in, maybe she doesn't, but that was like I wasn't trying at all. If I was really focused, like you could just go be out in the community. They'll ask you the questions. Yeah, I didn't say you hurt, right? Like
Yeah. I think you just got to be like when you own a business, it's like you, or even when you're operating a business, or you're a manager, you're a director of a clinic or whatever, you just have to be out there living it at all times. And like, I think it's interesting because I don't know, it's like kind of this weird conundrum where it's like people overestimate how many, like, we know people, for example, that are going to go start a business online and they're like, oh, I'm just going to post on Instagram and like I'll get business. It's like people overestimate like the power of like social media posts and talking about things, but they also underestimate the like how good it is to just like be omnipresent and always be talking about it. You know, so it's like I guess they kind of work together because it's like people are like, oh, all I need to do is like 10 posts and I'll have 10 customers, versus like, no, I have to do like a 10,000 posts to get 10 customers. But once I've done those 10,000 posts, I've interacted with so many people and I've put in 4 to 5 contact points with every single one of those people, where like, what do they say the average like contacts you have to make with someone is like 7 or 9 or something like that to get them to be a customer. So it's like, yeah, you might be hitting up, 1,000 people right now that are watching your stuff that aren't injured, but as soon as they become injured, they're going to become your customer. But I think like it's like one of those things where we overestimate what we can get done in a year, but we underestimate what we can do in 5 or 10. It's the same thing with like all of this stuff where it's like, again, like you said, we'll walk around the street and we'll have high def jackets on and people will be like, oh my gosh, I go to high def physical therapy. It's like 5 years ago, no one even could pronounce high def. Like no one even understood where we were. And that was like a big concern. We're like, I wonder if we should change our name because no one can even like pronounce or calling it he def. It's like, It's funny that like the consistency that you put in over time is the game changer. It's not any one platform. It's not any one thing that you do specifically. Like a lot of people think that like social media is this magic bullet because the one golden bullet or whatever, like the silver bullet. I don't know why I said golden bullet, the silver bullet, because we've been like, there's social media influencers that are out there crushing it. But it's like, dude, they like some of my favorite YouTubers, I'm like, man, I wish I could build a YouTube following. Like, why is it not working? I'm like, well, because they started back in friggin' 2009 and they've been posting every day since 2009. And I've been trying to create YouTube videos for like 2 years or a year, so it's like, of course, it's like they hit the platform at the right time. It's like the people who bought Bitcoin early. Like, yeah, you got on the wave and rode it, and now it's like harder than ever. It doesn't mean it can't be done because people are still building big audiences. But like people also, I think, overestimate the power of social media, but then they underestimate it in other ways. It's really an interesting like conundrum because I think it's hard to figure out. It's so hard to tell like if I do X, I get Y. It's like, no, I have to do like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then maybe I get Y, but I don't know which letter was like the thing that input. Even if you're like the best at tracking stuff, it's really hard to figure out. You just have to do it all.
Yeah. I mean, I think people overestimate social media and underestimate just talking to people. Right? The reason I bring that up is like, I have a lot of confidence that if I just started anything, or if I was like gonna be a trainer again, it would happen there, not on social media. It would happen by just sparking up conversations. Oh, you're trying to get a marathon? Oh shoot, I could help you with your running. Like, why don't you come in? We'll get you stronger. Boom, boom. Like that is gonna go way further than you posting. And I see that a lot too. I see so many people post stuff where I'm like, I'm not gonna say anything because it's good that you're getting out there and doing it and getting in the habit of making content. But I think your time would be way better spent just having conversations with people in your community that could actually pay you and use your service than
It's almost like something that has to be done though. Like for us, for example, we spend a lot of time on social media. We have a whole team that does the editing and all this stuff. Like we're on a podcast right now doing this. Some of it's out of enjoyment. Some of it's like social proofing, right? Like we talk to a patient or we talk to a prospective physical therapist and they come in or they go to our social media. It's almost like our business card now. So it's almost like you have to do it. But yeah, the expectation, especially early on when you have 100 to 500 followers, is like you're not going to generate a substantial amount of business from that following because the majority of those people are friends and family members who are not going to buy from you. But yeah, I mean, like the first trainer that ever worked for us left and was like, oh, I'm going to go create an online business and I'm going to travel the world and train people online. And it's like, that didn't work out, right? It's like,
yeah,
you're not doing that. But it's
still
like,
chasing that dream.
well, because I thought the better move, like you said, was get people local and then just transition them to online. Be like, hey, when I'm here, I'll train you. But when I leave, we're going to do remote. And that's probably the best of both worlds, because then you are actually a tangible person that they can trust is real. And inherently, I think there's going to be better or less churn with that because there's more trust versus like the person you've never met in person and lives in like Nashville, Tennessee. Like you're going to be much less likely to be like, money's a little tight. I've never actually met this person like in real life. Like they're not really tangible to me. Like I'm going to cancel this, right? So like,
Your tie is way less solid, right? Where it's like, oh, you're a friend. I've been with you for so long. Like, I'll keep it going. But
yeah,
when you've never met the person, it's like, just shut it off.
because like in my mind at least, even if I worked with someone remotely, but we lived in the same city, I'd be like, at least there's the connection that like we are in the same like vicinity of space. I could like run into this person out there on the street, like that kind of thing, versus like working with someone like remotely far away. But yeah, I mean like the majority of businesses, the people that matter to your business are like the 5 mile radius around you. You're not running an e-commerce business. You're not running like a completely online services business or like an app or something like that. Like the thing that matters is being like locally knowing everyone. Like you should try to become the unofficial mayor of your city or the official mayor of your city, right? Like you should try to figure out how to become that person who everybody knows, and you're the connector for everybody as well. So like all channels run through you. And there's been a lot of people that we know that built very successful businesses off of just like literally just knowing everyone. Like we know people that are like, oh, do you need your lawn cut? Oh, I got this guy. Oh, do you need your some like outlets added in your house? Like, oh, here's my electrician. And here's my guy. Like, oh, I know this guy who knows this person. And it's kind of like, if you're the connector in your city and then you just know everybody, like then people start connecting you to people because now you've made so many connections. Anytime they hear someone that says like, oh, I need physical therapy, they're like, oh, do you know Zach down in in Renton or whatever? Like, oh, he's got a shop. You should go see him. And so you become the go-to person for that service. And like little towns and even decent sized cities still work like this, where it's like everybody wants to have the guy and everyone wants the recommendation. Like I'd much rather use a plumber that comes recommended from a friend or family member than just finding one on Google.
For sure. And so there you go. Is like, okay, I got a business. I got to spend time marketing. Is it better spent creating a video that no one's going to watch, you're not that good at? Again, I think you can get better, or is it better spent meeting people in your community, offering value, being present and creating connections? I think the reason people may not do that, A, it's a lot easier to just hide behind a screen and post. B, I think there's this idea that online is going to be so instant. Whereas like, oh yeah, but if I go out in the community and have these conversations, it'll be like these tire kickers who aren't wanting to come in. And it's like, you can't go out in the community expecting that like, oh, I'm going to fill my book like this. You just have to do it and know that it'll come back. And I mean, how many people have like, oh shoot, I talked to that person a year ago and now they're here and they referred 3 friends. Like I couldn't have calculated that would happen. You just did so much volume of it that it eventually pays off.
And it's almost the opposite. I think it's actually like the guy who you met in the elevator who had a boot on his foot. It was like literally was in the clinic the next day versus the online. It's like takes a long time to build trust and like, they're kind of far from me. And like, it's like you knew that guy lived a mile away from your clinic and it's like, that person can come in physically. On social media, it's like the problem is even if someone in Tacoma is following us, that's 45 minutes away. They're not going to come and see us at any one of our clinics. Like it's great to have those followings. Again, I think it's been better for recruitment of physical therapists than it has been for patients.
Yep.
I certainly think we've gotten patients off of social media for sure, but like the volume of patients we see in a month, like less than 1/4% is from social media, or less than a 100% is from social media, right? It's like it's from other people. It's from knowing doctors and like word of mouth and friends and family and even like Google ads that are tied to a boundary of like, hey, this ad only runs to people that physically live within this radius. And so like that's really the hack to figure out is like, how do you go do that? But like you said, no one wants to do it. Like, and that's how I know the difference between someone who's going to be successful and not successful. Remember the first marketer we ever hired? She came in on her first day, and you guys went and did like physical marketing.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, I don't think I can do this." Like even she wanted to just hide behind a screen and do social media marketing because it's easier. It's easier to just sit on a computer and be like, "Oh, this is a good idea," because you don't actually get feedback. Like when you post something on Instagram and you get 5 likes, there's no one's going to comment like, "Oh, this ad sucked. It'll never convert somebody." Versus like you walk into a doctor's office and your pitch sucks and they instantly are like, "Yeah, I don't want to talk to you," and you get shut down. That's instant feedback where you're like, "Oh,
That hurts."
man, like I got to get better." You know, so it's like that is tough for people. Like they can't live with that kind of like you know, that difficulty of like, "Oh man, like I've got to really
Rejection.
now." Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, like if I ever see entrepreneurs out like, hey, I'm gonna do physical stuff, I don't want to do this online stuff, like as much as we want to push our PTs like film videos and all that stuff, I'm like, I'd rather you be out at Bouldering Project doing screens. Like it's more it's gonna be better. And then I'll just film you doing that. You know, it's like that, like so there's the better like of the two evils, you know, it's like you're doing both at the same time. It's like document versus create is probably best for most people who are camera shy or whatever. But yeah, I mean, like that's really probably the key to small business and local business is just consistency in the community.
And that's what we always talk about is like gatekeepers of your community. So whatever your business is, it's like where are your customers and where are those communities that you can break through to? You know, like if you're like the garage door, right? It's like, okay, why don't you go to some homeowners associations, try to get a meeting or whatever. Like there's a Comcast guy comes to my building and sits in the lobby with donuts like once a month. And I was like, that's pretty smart. I'm sure you could get someone off that. Like you're offering value, you're going to where the people are. I mean, we always try to set up a table in the apartment lobbies like, hey, you guys are in a nice building. You might care about your health. Let's just be where the people are.
For sure. I mean, the person that's doing that is smart. And by the way, I'd love to hire that Comcast person because they're willing to go do that versus like whatever else, right? Like the person who's willing to make cold calls, sit, talk to people, try to get rejected. The amount of events that we've shown up to and no one's come up to us, talked to us, and like, even though we put out effort, like that's the other difference is like you can't just do it and go through the motions. Like you have to try to do it well and get better every time and like debrief. Like every time we did events where it wasn't successful, we're like, oh man, that wasn't exactly what we wanted. How do we make it better the next time? How do we get more people? How do we get more people to come up to us? What do we need to have at our table that gets people to come? It's like, it's just like our booth at CSM. Like we thought through all that stuff. And luckily our first booth was a hit. And it was because we like thought back to every booth that was terrible in the past and every booth that was great in the past. And we're like, what's great and what's bad? And then let's do all the things that are great and none of the things that are bad. It's like, there's like no instant pitch. Don't try to like, hey, have you ever heard about high def? You know, it's like people came up to us and they had no idea what we were. And we weren't like pitching them quickly. They're like, what is this booth? We're like, oh, it's caffeine. And they're like, well, but like, why are you here? You know, it's like, it was almost like they were trying to like pull it out of us. That was like a reverse sales tactic for them where it's like, oh, actually, we own these physical therapy clinics. We're just here for fun, just to hand out some drinks and stuff. And our sponsor sent us a bunch of stuff to give away. And so it's like, that was great. And like, we thought about like, hey, what are our giveaways? Caffeine and sugar. Like people like candy. People love caffeine at these kind of events. How do we get this in here? And so like,
it's a disruptor, right? Like that's the stop the scroll. Every other booth is just a scroll, like seen it, same as that one, already have that little tchotchke. Whoa, no one's giving out drinks. No one's, what?
Well,
no one's giving out candy?
We had the colorful wall of drinks that we put out. The background was like, don't burn out, caffeinate with us. And then small logos of our companies. And so the main point was like the headline up there, good background, And then it was like, just have conversations with people. Don't try to sell people on like coming out, just educating people on what we do and like let them make their decisions. It's like more of like jab, jab, jab. A lot of these boosts, they like don't do anything and then they try to right hook.
Yeah, yeah. Or
We saw,
their jab is not something you want. It's like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's in like, that's in life, everything, right? It's like, even in PT, it's like that should be how you do it. It's like you lead with value, you jab, jab, jab. And like, if you have never listened or read that book, like it's a classic, like read that Gary V book and try to practice what he preaches. Cause it's true. Like and then you can scale that down to anything, right? Like you can do that in any industry, in any situation. It's like you go and meet with students at Tufts. It's like, what do they want to hear? They don't want to get pitched on some like thing that, it's like, hey, just come and let's have a conversation. Like, hey, I
yeah,
got
didn't
some.
have contracts like ready to sign. But some places do that shit.
I know it's crazy, but yeah,
And I mean, we've been to like, remember that football event? That's something I think about. It was like, I mean, sure, if we got the drinks, maybe we would have got more conversations. But at the end of the day, you also have to be in the right markets, I guess, that people are going to care, and in the right like frame of mind. Like they were not in the mind of like, let me get pitched on anything. It was like, I'm here to just learn about football. And
yeah, and that culture, that's interesting because to me those conferences, like the vendors were almost more like a necessary evil to like to pay for some like to help pay fund the event itself versus like CSM. The exhibit hall is like a spectacle. Like
right.
people like to go there because it's like, oh, this is crazy. Like it's like an expo. And I think there was actually a lot of cool stuff at the football one. It was just the culture of it was like people were like, oh, I'm gonna get pitched on this like $10,000 equipment.
And not a lot of decision makers too, right? It's like your whole football staff is there. They're not spending any money or making any decisions on the team.
And the vast majority of the schools are not from our area. So like again, that's like a learning experience. So what we're talking about is like a football coaches conference we went to that was local to here, but coaches from all over the state. So like again, you think about that, you go, okay, probably better to now one-on-one reach out to every high school coach in this area, but not just the high school coach, the athletic director, because they have more of like the influence and power like decision making process. Although coaches can still tell people to go out to get physical therapy or whatever, but yeah, for like if you're selling like a $10,000 like VR headset football trainer, you don't necessarily want the coaches. Like you got to educate the coaches so that they're putting in the ADs here, but you really just want to get to the ADs. So maybe it's a long play. You don't expect to sell any devices at that, but you get a lot of coaches educated on it. And maybe that's your pitch. So that's like you decide, okay, I'm not going to do right hooks. I'm only going to jab, jab, jab. And then every time someone asks like, oh, can I, like, how do we buy this? Just like, oh, don't worry about buying it. Just, I want you to understand the product. Cause when I go and talk to your AD, like if you want to support this and you want this, I'm going to help, you're going to help me sell it to your AD so that you guys can use it. Cause at the end of the day, like the coaches want that stuff, right? They want the new helmets, the pads, they want the cool tackling dummies and all that kind of stuff.
Or you let them use it, right? And then it's like, yeah, why don't you use it for free, embed it in your system so you can't live without it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so like I think there's just you have to be really strategic when you go to like these kind of events and you're trying to get sales. There's just a way to do it and there's a way not to do it. But I think you have to do a bunch of misses to get the hits. And like even though CSM was our first booth ever where we had a lot of success, like we have run a lot of other booths talking to people for a very long time before that. And so it wasn't like it was our first booth. We just understood the psychology of people at events like that. And so like you got to understand your audience and like what you're trying to go for in that instance.
For sure.
I think that's pretty solid on
Pretty
topics.
solid. Yeah, yeah. I think so.
We'll call that the pod.
Sweet.